is I, Tentus Naravan Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire, and welcome. It's time to continue our discussion on Shadowrun. I've been talking about the 4th edition of it. Let's dive in more of the Matrix and the wireless world, which is what we've been talking about. Last time we talked about a hacking-based skill. This one we're talking about another one that's in the same sort of skill group, electronic warfare. We'll begin with that. Now, electronic warfare is all about intercepting wireless signals and detecting wireless signals. It's all about this wireless communication. So if you're using it, one of the basic ways is to detect wireless networks or wireless signals. It's the main way of doing it. When you're making a test with it, it's going to usually be electronic warfare plus logic, or electronic warfare plus whatever relevant program you are using. There are a number of uses of it, which I will talk about. Let's start with one, which is, of course, detecting wireless networks, detecting nodes. This one is relatively simple. With just a basic free action, you can detect any active or passive nodes within range. You can just do it. No test required. It's very easy to detect anything that's within range of you, within range of your signal. The problem is if you're looking for a specific one in amongst all of these, now it becomes a little more of a challenge. You have to make an extended test of electronic warfare plus scan with a threshold that is a variable. This variable will be determined by your game master depending on all the circumstances that are going on. How many networks you're reading through, what kind of defenses, things like that, that may make it harder or smaller, what kind of signal it's actually giving out, that you're weeding through all of these active and passive, basically wireless nodes to find the one that you're specifically looking for and the one that you knew existed within this area. Now, this doesn't mean that if someone's hidden, you couldn't find them. You can find someone that's hidden, but it requires a two-step process. First off, you have to begin to be able to detect all the hidden nodes that are out there. You have to make another electronic warfare plus scan, this time with a threshold of 4, just a basic test, not extended. And if you succeed in getting 4 successes, you've now detected that there are hidden nodes out there. Congratulations, you've done step 1. Now you have to find the correct hidden node. This is where problems come in, because now it is the exact same test that you had before, except whatever threshold you would have had before is increased by at least 15, if not more. At least 15 is going to be the threshold to discover in amongst all of these, now that you've opened yourself up to all of these wireless networks, the hidden one. So it really is, I'm adding those into the list of networks I already had detected. And then I'm weeding out the correct one now that I have a lot more. Now you can use electronic warfare to encrypt or decrypt something. Now, it's easy to encrypt it. It's a simple action to encrypt some kind of communication. If you have the proper key, it is just the same kind of action to decrypt it. When you don't have the key, that becomes the problem. It becomes much more of a challenge to decrypt it, and effectively you have to go through a brute force process of doing it. You are required to roll a decryption plus response test with a threshold of the encryption times 2, 1 combat turn for how often you can roll this extended test. Eventually, you probably have enough time you could break through this encryption. Then you might have to worry about other defenses, because there are oftentimes ice that could be embedded in there as part of an encryption that breaking through it, the brute force and not using the key, would set off. So there are other defenses that might exist within this encryption. You can intercept wireless signal. This means that as long as there's a wireless signal that is within range of you, meaning at least one of the 2 nodes that's getting this signal, either sent from it or coming back to it, you have to be within its signal range. Once you're within that, you can attempt to intercept this wireless signal and basically listen in on it. This will require electronic warfare plus sniffer 3 test in order to effectively hook yourself in to this signal that's going wirelessly. Now this is not a wired signal. This is a purely wireless signal between these 2 sources you are attempting to intercept. It's being broadcast. Once you intercept it, you can very easily listen in on it and basically copy it with no check. Nothing whatsoever. You can just do that. I can basically know what's going on with this wireless signal. I can copy any information being sent. Bam. If I want to basically interject myself into this signal or edit something within the signal, that will require some kind of editing test, which I've talked about earlier. You theoretically can do that. There is nothing that can tell you when someone is listening to your wireless communications, intercepting it. Nothing tells you that it's happening. So I very well could get in on this wireless sort of communication, intercept it. No one would be the wiser if I don't do any kind of editing. On the other hand, this signal, wireless signals, are oftentimes encrypted. So you might have to worry about decrypting it. And on the other hand, with encryptions, might be defenses actually put into this, into the encryption itself. So again, there might be more trouble than just I listen in on it, but until you're trying to do that and know you have to decrypt it or not, you're not going to know. Now, when it comes to electronic warfare, we do have to talk about jamming. Jamming is a common thing within electronic warfare that actually tends to be restricted and or illegal. There are two main types of jammer: area jammer and spot jammer. An area jammer, you set it up over an area and it's within a signal, similar to your devices have a signal. Within its signal, it effectively jams all wireless communication. A spot one, you basically can aim it at a certain location and effectively jam maybe one node or one basically network in particular that you want to jam. It is more of a spot. You're aiming it a lot better. Now, there is electronic countermeasures, or ECCM, which is designed to basically overcome jamming that you might have in certain areas, especially if it's much more security-based. You probably will have some of that. Not everything's going to have ECCM, but when it does, it's going to help counteract the jamming effect you're having out, basically. Now, the jammer is going to effectively have a rating, which is effectively reducing the signal of your system that's going out. Whatever the jammer's rating, you basically subtract that from your signal, and if it reaches 0 or below, its wireless signal is being suppressed. If you have ECCM, you add that rating of the ECCM to your signal to see what you're overcoming for jamming. It basically gives you a bonus that makes it more difficult to overcome it. If the jamming doesn't overcome your signal at all, it effectively has no effect on it. It's being just there. Now let's begin to talk about programs. Programs are the tools you're going to be using when you're manipulating the matrix, regardless if it's something illegal or illegal. There are going to be programs that you're going to be using. There are common ones, there are hacking ones. But these aren't the main categories we're talking about. There are all kinds of programs that each have specific uses that you're going to be accessing in order for the different tasks. Attack programs are made to disrupt or destroy icons. Exploit ones are effectively ones you'd be using in the process of hacking. Armor programs are going to be ones to protect yourself against various types of matrix attacks. And browse programs are going to be the ones that you're going to use for specifically searching for data. All of these types of programs basically encompass what you would need. Either as just a general person, you might need a good number of them. As a hacker, you're probably going to have all of them to find all the different types of information you need. Programs have a rating from 1 to 6. There are programs that go above there, but they are either exceptionally made or military-based programs. It is, of course, important to note that the system of your device limits the programs. If I have a system of 5, I have a program of 6, it's going to act like a program of 5 because my system is limiting it. Also important to note that if you have a number of programs running equivalent to your system, it reduces your response by 1. And each time you do that, it reduces your response by another 1. So effectively, the more programs you're running at the same time reduces your response. Now, each program, it's going to list the skill that would be used along with it. It is also important to note if something like an ice or a sprite has a program loaded into it, it's going to use its system in place of any of these skills it might have. So it will use whatever program it is plus system, instead of, let's say, something might tell me, use this program plus my computer skill. That's the example on that one. So that's it for today. I first introduced you to, of course, electronic warfare and its various uses, from detecting someone that's nearby, their node through their wireless signal, to encrypting or decrypting data, intercepting wireless data, and of course, we talked about jamming, which is an important part of this entire thing, and the use of also ECCM, which you might have some to block jamming from affecting you, because that might be important to do depending on the situation you're getting in. You might not want to be jammed. I then moved into talking about programs, and went over some basics of the programs that you might go into. In the next episode, I will, of course, talk about the common use programs, the hacking programs, trying to keep general about both of them, and then move into talking about agents. So, if you have any questions, comments, anything you would say, anything you think left out, please leave in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. It should support the channel, the Empire, the work I do. If you want to show some extra support, you can always check out my Patreon, link in the description below. But regardless, until the next time, I bid you farewell.